it's one thing to have attention and paparazzi and whatever. It's a whole different thing when the very real threat of your life being taken is significant everywhere you go all of the time. That would be a tough thing to compromise, I think.
I think, it's probably hard for them to appreciate if they've not thought about it. But the fact is that it doesn't matter who they are. There are a lot of people out there that want you dead.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good that people think they can get from killing you. And so that's the first thing we think of, but I don't think these presidents are thinking that too often. These guys, they overblow everything. What if the sun explodes? I got that one time. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's on us. And we take it seriously. And the answer's, we're going to try to say yes. Yeah. But give us a minute and then we'll say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a board venture of base molecular resonance technology that you're a part of, as well as if you could just give us a kind of a 30-second elevator pitch of what your involvement in that is, and then I'd love to talk about the well house home and the protection stuff that you did for kids.
Base molecular resonance technology. The 30-second overview is that Einstein and Tesla had this theory, and the theory was that we think elements and therefore molecules are giving off some kind of noise, a sound. There's something there, and BMRT figured out how to listen for that, how to almost like activate that. And so how they describe it is that we can make them sing, and because we know what song they're singing, we can cue in on that song and detect it, pick it up, and therefore identify what you are. And so whether it's an element in the chart, and they've charted every single one of them now, or a molecule, it gives off a different resonance. And they've been able to chart that. And so, for instance, the molecular structure of gunpowder, they've mapped that, they've charted that, they load that into this, looks like a handheld radio almost. They can pick up a .22 caliber bullet at 75 feet.
Wow.
Through a wall. And it sounds, what everyone says is, if that's true, and it's like, I know, if that's true, they can pick up an M16 magazine loaded at 300 yards through walls and whatever. But at the same time, what's kind of more immediately interesting to me is what they can pick up in terms of cancer and diseases. They can pick up COVID if they want to, whatever you want to load into this thing. And so the great story I love to tell is that they were given a demo of this to potential investors. And so they had a lab slide of like colon cancer or something, and it was colon cancer. And they put it in a bowl of water, marble bowl, and then they put a marble slab in front of that, and they turn the machine on, and it goes off. Wow. Yep, there's colon cancer right there. Yeah. Threw a marble slab through a bowl in the water. They turned the machine, before they turned it off, they turned it to the left, and it went off again. And the investors are like, oh, too bad, false positive. And they're like, no, it doesn't do that. So they left the room, they went into the room next door, and there were two guys sitting in there, and they said, hey, sorry to bother you, but either of you battling colon cancer? And the one guy, cocked his head and said, maybe. Why are you asking? And he said, well, we've got a device next door that picked up something coming from this direction, and we couldn't see you, so we just don't know. And it's unbelievable, but it's got to be believable what they're picking up and how they can do it. And so disease, explosives, nuclear, whatever it is, you name it, they can, illegal drugs through shipping containers.
So in theory then, if this is true, you could do human remains too then, right? I mean, like for cold cases, couldn't they do that?
Yeah. In fact, what they believe is, and they had an example where a friend of a friend kind of lost a cobra in his home, and he had kids. And so they
First of all, who the fuck has a cobra in there?
I know. So you can't make this up. I mean, dude lets a cobra loose in his house. He's got small kids, and so they evacuate the home. And they're like, could you please find this? Is there any way that thing could find a where a cobra is in my house. And so they went to the local university, and they said, is there anything peculiar about a cobra, like DNA wise or something that we could load into this machine? So they loaded in, and they minutes, they found a cobra. And so what they believe, they've not tried it or tested it, is that yes, if I have your DNA and you're a missing child, abducted, or just a missing person, a soldier who's missing, they can actually find you
that
in
way.
a city. They don't even need to be that close. They can say, yep, we're getting a hit in this city right here. And then they start the process of honing in on where that is. Now they've not tested that, but everything is pointing to the fact that yes, you could do that.
Wow. Man, that's fascinating. Base molecular resonance technology.
Right.
And what role do you play in that? You're on the board
I'm on the board of advisors. Yeah.
for that. Wow, that's amazing.
It's very exciting, and having had a wife that just went through and we believe beat breast cancer, I sure wish we'd have found that out sooner.
Yeah.
And I mean, the possibility exists that you could walk into your doctor's office and they say, "Do you want the cancer scan?"
Yeah.
And they've loaded every kind of cancer into this thing, and it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
And they can say, "Yeah, you do have. Let's try this. Let's only scan for, say, breast cancer," and it goes off and say that doesn't fix it. You need to get checked out. And chances are if you get regular testing, that they're going to pick it up very, very early.
Yeah.
And that's got to be good news.
Yeah. Is that something that do you know if that's going to be a common thing? And I mean, or what?
I believe it's going to be common.
Yeah.
But
what are the obstacles?
The obstacles are getting it commercially available.
Oh, I got
So
you.
we're trying to partner. We've made some big announcements with some investors that have come in, and we just need help getting it to that commercial availability.
Yeah.
So the technology's there. We've got an analog and a digital device, but we're not the smartest, sharpest. So we want help getting it to the next phase, and I think we've got help on the way.
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
pretty cool.